Good evening, cyberspace. Welcome to Squatch-D TV for today's date, July 28th, 2019. I'm your host, your guide, the Squatch Detective Steve Kulls, along with guy right down there, my co-host, Mr. Chris Bennett. How are you, Chris?
Hey, Steve, doing all right, man. We had some really nice weather lately.
Sure.
I'll tell you what, it's about time. I mean, we've been having like these really strong heat waves. And then now it started getting cool at night again. Almost cool enough to turn off the AC. Yeah, I'm kind of a miser when it comes to the electricity. So when it starts getting cool enough at night, I can turn off the AC. I like it.
Well, our first commenter of the night comes from Bill Brock. Hello, Bill. I hope things are going well at the Conjuring House. That is where Mr. Brock is. So, our good friend Aaron's back, and of course, Melissa. So, hi, y'all. And as people roll in, sorry, something got caught in my tooth, and I was eating popcorn earlier, and something just dislodged. So that's horrible. What a horrible feeling. Dave Long says hello. Hello, Dave. From Washington. And so we're going to have a good show tonight. We're going to have a little fun because a couple of things is tonight, I think we're going to go surfing with the Squatch Detective because you know what happened? We needed a guest. And, there's a troublemaker right there. We needed a guest for tonight, and we got a guest. And unfortunately, and wow, we're getting a whole bunch of people saying hello. Come to Wisconsin. Ronnie, hello. Hello, everybody. This is awesome. And right now, and Bill, I hope Corey's hanging out too. Hello to Corey and his family. Yeah, like I said, we had a guest, and for some reason, we were all set. Sent him a link, and the guest is AWOL. So hopefully the guest will come in at some point tonight. But just to let you folks know, we have a couple of great shows coming up next week. We're going to have DEUTSCH on, the Bigfoot Dogman Project, and we're going to be talking about, and I'm going to try to get Rick Riolo on too. That's going to be a feat and a half. And we're going to talk about diversity in the Bigfoot world and talk about some things. And the following week, we're going to be having on Stephen Streufert. We haven't talked to Stephen in quite some time from the Coalition page over on Facebook. And the week after, we're going to get Jay Michael on. We haven't talked to Jay in a while, so getting Jay back on. And hello, Richard. How are you, sir? So it's nice to be seeing all our friends popping in, saying hello. So kind of throws our game plan a little bit off what we're doing, but we will manage somehow, some way, and get going on what we need to get going on. But anyway, the first thing I want to do is show everybody a video, and now that we have sound, yay! I want to show everybody a video I did last week. I haven't put out too many videos with the Stop the Lunacy movement. Reason being, it's not that I'm slowing down. It's just been a real busy week. It's been nuts, and I got another busy week coming up too, doing a lot of real world investigations, and it's just been off the chart. So yeah, I'm going quite a bit this week. But let's play that other video for everybody. First, let me get the sound going, right? Because I do have to, since this is all new to me, I still got to remember the process. So hang on 1 second, we'll get the sound going here.
Hey, folks, we're going to check out what a lot of people don't know is for the last few weeks, I've been leaving a gifting bowl out to bait the Sasquatch. And I've been leaving fruit. And a lot of times the fruit will just be gone. It's got to be Bigfoot. And all of a sudden, one day I came back, and in the bowl, there was a rock. Oh, Bigfoot. There was a rock. So I kept baiting it with fruit and vegetables. And then I started putting out raw steaks and chicken. And then the next thing you know, it left a glyph. And look at that glyph. It said, hi, H-I. So I left some more stuff out. And this time I added fruits and meat and vegetables. And then the next thing I got, it left me a note. I is Bigfoot. And we all know how they can spell. It's obvious. It's quantum physics. That's how they can spell. So we're going to check what it left today in the gifting bowl. Let's just go up to the gifting bowl, see what it left. Oh, I'm so excited. It's been leaving all kinds of great things. Where's the gifting bowl? Oh, there's the gifting bowl. Oh, my God. It left an iPhone. Awesome. Quantum physics. That explains it all. Who knows? Maybe the Bigfoot will actually call me on this. Catch y'all later, folks. Hashtag stop the lunacy.
And there you have it, the wonderful video of the gifting bowl.
Nice iPhone. I'm going to start leaving some stuff out maybe.
So Bill asked a question, and here it's a big one. Sorry it crosses your face out there, Chris. It says, if you believe in the paranormal, shouldn't you be open-minded to the possibility of a multi-dimensional Bigfoot? If Einstein's theory is right, everything that's ever happened or ever will happen has happened in an instant. Shouldn't that open the possibility of a crossover of some kind? No, I don't believe in the possibility of a multi-dimensional Bigfoot because it hasn't shown me, and that's a great question, hasn't shown me anything multi-dimensional. There's been no proof of it. Are there any other multi-dimensional animals on this planet? We're not multi-dimensional. Why should a Bigfoot? A gorilla isn't, an ape isn't, an orangutan, a chimpanzee, a bonobo, you know, the 1936 souvenir shovel, although if you put it in a portal, it might be multi-dimensional. It's not multi-dimensional. So I really don't subscribe to that, and I don't believe in that theory because I've had my own sightings, and they are very, very far from what we would consider paranormal. I mean, I've seen stuff that's paranormal, and
when you get into the theory of everything happening, you know, everything that could happen at the same. Well, the problem is with that is everything has happened, certainly, but we have a separator there. It's called time.
Right.
So everything
You know,
happens in time.
right. Just like you know, like, why hasn't that theory been put out for the Loch Ness Monster? Multi-dimensional lake cryptid.
Yeah.
You just don't hear it. What it is it's a very good anthropological factor involved in that. And as if people can't solve it, it must be mystical. If you're having a hard time understanding it or proving it exists, it must be mystical. And that is a typical anthropological throwback. We know that the giant octopus exists, or the giant squid, and we know it exists, but you know, and sailors thought it was some kind of sea monster, and you know, all these like abilities. So
Yeah, they've existed since everybody. The first guy saw one, but only in the last few years, I think they were able to finally get some pictures of the giant squid. And it's not because it was in another dimension. It's just really hard to find it, and really hard to photograph it.
now, Bill, I don't know how good your Wi-Fi is on, but if I send you a link, you want to come over to the show, say hi for a minute? We'd love to have you on to say hello, because I can do that. And Paul Garnett says the Sasquatch is an animal, not a paranormal phenomenon. They're timid, cunning, and not easily found. And I agree with that.
I agree with that.
Oh, Bill's saying hold on. So maybe Bill Brock's going to come on. And that would be kind of fun. A couple of weeks ago, Bill had me out at the, I'll show you where I was a couple of weeks ago. Give me 1 second here. I gotta kind of, because we're throwing off. No, I don't want that. Because we're throwing off the facts a little bit here. So I had the wonderful ability, and thanks to Bill, a couple of weeks ago. Come on. Wow. Sorry, the internet's being a little slow tonight over here. Yep, looks like I'm not going to be able to find what I wanted to find. Oh, there it is. But Bill had me over to, well, you can't see it. There it is. Had me over to the Conjuring House a couple of weeks. That's where Bill is actually staying for the summer, is at the Conjuring House. And the Conjuring House was a house that was, hello, Melanie, I sure do remember you. What's going on? Congratulations on your retirement. I know that was a little bit ago. But yeah, the Conjuring House was the actual house where the Perron family had their experiences, and the Warrens had investigated it. And yes, I'm very well versed in the paranormal, so that's not a hard thing for me to do there. So to talk about that, but yes, absolutely a great place, and I'm looking forward to getting back out there sometime. So we'll put that back. There's a YouTube page, and we'll go over to back to our. There we are. So a little shuffling of stuff here, and Paul is on a rampage here. He's going to cover Chris Bennett's face up with the big Facebook symbol. Coelacanth, panda, mountain gorilla, okapi, all animals found in the 1900s, all thought to be myths. Giant squid was first called a myth, known as a kraken. And now we know because the Japanese researcher photographed one in 2012. Sorry, I'll hush. No, all is good, Paul. Thank you for that's what makes this show is people shouting out their opinions and stuff. And that's the beauty of this new forum and format. I don't know how,
good point. Yeah.
So while we're on the topic, and we're gonna tool over here to squatchdetective.com. Again, I want to make mention to all my local folks that on August 1st, I'll be at the Franklin Alley Social Club in Troy, New York, doing the a Squatch chat. I'll be showing some evidence and stuff like that. And Bill wants me to send him a link, so hang on. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So let me get rid of that. So we're gonna get Bill on real quick. Just give me 1 second.
Chat.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and $5 squatcheritas. So I like the idea of a squatcherita or three.
That for him. Squatcherita.
Okay, so I just sent Bill the link, so hopefully we'll see him in here in a few minutes. And you know, so that's the cool thing about this is we can send links. This is such a great platform that we can. One of the areas I love to point out to is that on the website I have something called Squatch-D University, and I talk about a bunch of things. And some of the things I hold near and dear to my heart are the 5 tenets of Bigfoot research. You know, number one is keep an open mind. And hello, Jimmy Trick. Goosebumps Paranormal. I must have Goosebumps. Goosebumps Paranormal. But one of the things that I like to talk about is keeping an open mind. Yes, you have to keep an open mind, but remain objective. And an open mind doesn't mean, you know, compromising reality. That's very, very important. Yeah, Squatcherita, Paul, does kind of sounds like a female Mexican Sasquatch drink. Or female Sasquatch, very true. Number 3, always tell the truth. Because honesty is best policy. And you should never be able to report, you know, results which are negative to your cause. I mean, that's just part of the game. Okay, we didn't get anything. We didn't do anything, you know, yada, yada, yada. Responsibility to educate, right here, responsibility to educate. I feel that as we learn about things, provided you're staying with science and a good investigative background and you have some science to back up what you say, you have a responsibility to educate. Unfortunately, educating about Zorth and stuff like that, and educating about mind speak to the creatures, and, you know, telling people to wear bright colors in the forest and talk to your forest friends, not necessarily educating people on the topic itself. Of course, then we have exposed the charlatans, which we do on a very regular basis. So, you know, I talk about, you know, a little bit of Bigfoot history. You know, we go into, you know, who coined the term Sasquatch? This man right here. How Bigfoot came to know its name, and actually it's a new Sasquatch. And we talk about different things like Native American names and stuff like that. And one of the things I love to talk about is investigation. And there's a whole section in there about investigation. And look who just showed up. Hang on, let me get him on. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bill Brock. How are you, Mr. Bill?
Hey, good.
Good to see you, brother.
Thanks, guy. I'm just basically just hanging out on the porch of the Conjuring House.
We are live from the Conjuring House. This is awesome.
Good to see you.
Barely happens.
And hey, and Ken Collins is also going to pop in too, who was our guest for tonight. So he's going to try to connect now. That just got sent. So we're going to have a full house. So speaking of a full house, how are things over there? A little creepy?
Oh man, it's been crazy. Since you were here, we've gotten some other evidence that we're not quite allowed to share yet. We definitely will at some point, probably, you know, November 1st after a show airs their episode. But like, we're definitely getting real evidence, you know. And by the way, earlier I was really having a hard time. You know, I'm on board with the whole loon thing. You know,
Yeah.
like I don't think what is like interdimensional anything, but you know that really is a really cool argument, and it's also like a cool concept if you really think about it, because what I was saying is basically Einstein believed that everything that ever has happened or ever will happen has happened right in this instant. And so the way he kind of explained it, and other physicists, if I can say that word, have explained it, and it's basically like layers of a cake, and sometimes this layer could actually fall into this layer, and they cross over, and you get this intertwining
Sure.
of dimensional whatever, man, which it's all just crazy gibberish to me, but it is an interesting concept nonetheless.
Hey, Tim.
Bigfoot's real.
Yeah.
Whether it's real or not, I don't know, but yeah, it's a fun concept to think about. But
Yeah, it is. And you know what, Bill? I'm very pissed off at Einstein because I want that layer of cake where I win the lottery to kind of just fall right into this layer of the cake for them. That would be really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But you know, and congratulations to Corey, by the way, on landing the Halloween special for Ghost Adventures.
Yeah, isn't that nuts, man?
That
Like,
is
it's just so crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
So I love Ghost Adventures, man. Like back in the day, I think they were like one of the coolest shows ever. Like when they first came out, and they were basically like three guys, like us three, rolling into like a location with video cameras and then just documenting what they had found. Man, to me, that's the coolest show ever. And so yeah, it's really cool to like see him get this opportunity. You know, it's awesome.
Now, see, now I got another. Hey, I have another Paul Garnett comment. I love Paul. And so we're gonna hopefully this may actually cross out Bill and Chris's face. We'll see. Nope, it just crosses out Bill's. And what he says is, I believe in the paranormal. Don't get me wrong. There is, however, a definitive separation, and I tend to agree with that. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there are instances that people have had in a single dose that might be part of that, because one of my arguments I have to people is that, hey, you know, perhaps you had a paranormal experience. Maybe something was manifesting as a Sasquatch because maybe it's in your mind, maybe it's whatever. Maybe it's something completely scientific as well. And yep, Steve Schroifert asked, is this the way to the portal potty?
Yes, Steve.
Steve's awesome, man. He's cool.
I got to pull out the portal potty picture at one point. Have you seen the portal potty picture yet?
I no. I wish I had.
Okay, you guys talk. I'm going to get the portal potty out.
If you can find it, Steve, yeah.
Oh, I'll find it. Trust me.
Portal.
Yeah. So
I love that. I love the concept, brother. I like the concept of calling out like the craziness. I don't know. I think Bigfoot's a physical creature. I don't think that he's like, you know, man. And everything that I've ever learned about Bigfoot, everything that I've ever like heard, really, besides a small group of people, say that Bigfoot is real. You know, and people find too many physical, like I don't know, pieces of evidence left behind, and whether a Bigfoot track is truly evidence or not, like I'm not exactly sold on all of them being real evidence, but there has to be some of them that are either real or something, you know.
There's the portal potty.
the portal potty is up.
Oh man. Well, it's kind of fun because that's the difference between me and Steve. We are exact opposites on some things. He's a paranormal investigator. I'm a skeptic. You know, I'm the kind of guy you got to show me. I'm from Missouri. Well, I'm only in Kentucky, but I might as well be from Missouri because you got to show me before I'm going to believe it. Even with Bigfoot, you know, I was a skeptic, and a lot of people that know me now think that's funny because I you know, I'm a firm. Well, I know these, but before I actually saw one, you know, I was skeptical of it, and then poof, there it is.
Now that's kind of creepy, considering Bill is at the Conjuring house, and all of a sudden we just watch this picture.
Lost Bill.
So we'll get him back on in a second, but
Bill is having paranormal difficulties.
Toast toasties. But you know, continuing on.
One of the back
Go ahead,
having a camera, everybody sees me smoking, and I just like to tell everybody, the kids, don't do this. This is bad. This will kill you.
Very bad. Very bad. Don't do what he does or what I do.
Right.
So yeah, so I know Mr. Collins said he was going to come on, and that was 8 minutes ago. Oh, and Bill dropped. So what a fun night! Up.
Maybe Ken might be having a few issues. I know on mine when I first started, Steve, I think it had a install Skype or something on here. Or maybe it was something to do with the microphone, or it could have been my headset. I don't know.
Well,
But,
right now, Ken is in the waiting room. However, it says devices are not connected. So, Ken, if you're hearing this, according to this, you've got to go into your settings, buddy, and just on the little strip on the bottom there, there's some settings. It'll say mute, stop cam settings. Go into settings and put your information, your correct microphone and stuff like that too.
yeah, I had to do that too. Yeah. And then you
He just
that and select your microphone and your camera, and boom, it pop up. Well, mine did.
Well, you know, there has been a plethora of things that really get to me. You know, like here, we'll go here. Now that is a picture, supposedly, of a Sasquatch.
Oh. Well.
There's another one.
Yeah.
And another one. So.
Well, you know, I can relate that it's really hard.
And you know what? I can see pareidolia can hit, but okay, if this is the Bigfoot here, then what? It's just a tree. See, and that's, you know, we have people that are constantly putting out stuff of that nature. And, you know, and that's unfortunate.
It's really hard to get a camera to show, especially if you've got one that does autofocus. It's really hard to take a good picture. But especially if the creature is subdued, like they're always going to be behind something. They're going to be behind leaves. They're going to be at the edge of a tree. They're going to be behind a pile of sticks. It's really hard to get a good focus on them. But don't give up. Keep trying.
No. And the other thing too is, and unfortunately, this one's going to call out a Facebook group, I think. Like, look at this. And this is what we deal with constantly. You know, like that's a Bigfoot, and all right, you know, but it's just pareidolia. It's just tree structures. We've seen that in the past with other investigations and stuff like that. So I'm just cleaning up the board a little bit here. So
it's really hard to get all these things.
Yep.
Even if you're lucky enough to be close enough to get good video, it's hard to get good video.
I guess nobody does Blog Talk Radio anymore. Well, there's a good segue to a topic that Blog Talk Radio, to me, is long outdated. I mean, look at this. We can sit and have a discussion, read the comments off of all the platforms, and at the same time, be able to show people things and show people videos and stuff like that. And I think it's a lot of fun doing it this way. I think there's a lot more to talk about, a lot more to show.
Yeah, we don't really want to throw rocks at Blog Talk. I mean, it was great when they first opened that format. It was a great deal, but still to this day, they haven't really upgraded it. You know, it would be nice if you could show video there. It'd be nice if you could have hook up to the other platforms and stuff and get instant messages from across Facebook, Twitter, and stuff. But they've kind of been at a standstill. It seems like they're not really progressing, moving, carrying it forward.
That's why Facebook is the worst thing that ever happened to Bigfoot. In a lot of instances, yes, absolutely. And hey, Tim, just give me yes or no. You want to come on? I'll send you over a link. We can do that. We had Bill Brock on earlier. Come on up. That's the beautiful thing about this show. we can keep it going, keep it flowing, keep the talk going on. And if you got a webcam or if you don't have a webcam, you just have a computer or whatever, you just pop on over. And if you want us to send a link out, I can do that. And I'll just go ahead and do that now. We had Tim on the show many years ago.
It's been a while.
Been a while. So there we go. Invite link. So okay, awesome. So let me get a link to you and
all right, animals, get out of here. Go on.
And there we go. So all I have to do, Tim, is click on that bad boy and you'll get right over to the show. And Paul, sorry, I don't trust 90% of this photo as far as teleporting. Quote, I mean, it sounds harsh, no, it makes. And you're right, absolutely, Paul. I'm, you're saying what I've been preaching. Preach it, Paul. Keep preaching it. There has to be some way to do this, and of course, we always do stop the lunacy. That is my movement to try to clear this up, and try to put out the message that this is craziness. Constant pictures, people constantly talking to the Sasquatch with nothing going on. And just so you know, I'm going to put the watch live. There's the Facebook pages.
Good.
And the replays, we'll do the replays on those channels. So
you can't post a picture like some of those block squatches that Steve just posted a few minutes ago. You can't post something like that as absolute proof of Bigfoot. Here it is, it exists. This is the picture. A bunch of leaves. You can't make it out. I mean, keeping in mind, the guy that made that photo, I mean, he may have actually had a sighting there. It may have been one on the other side, but we'll never know. We can't make it out.
So, and I mean, here it is. It gets even. This is actually a post on Facebook, and this is what. And this guy isn't to the necessarily extreme that some are, but but this post, I mean, is but it's not just this cat; it's a bunch of other cats that we see this coming out of a lot of times, and unfortunately, it's becoming more often than not. And
I don't mind looking at an honest photo where somebody, hey, it's right here. Okay, well, I'll try to look for it and find it. If I don't see it, well, I don't see it. But now, what I do mind is the pictures that showing a gorilla or a chimpanzee that they've altered and say, oh yeah, this is Bigfoot. And Steve, you got some examples of that on your blog on the website, where you could go back and find that picture and say, oh, here it is. Here's the same picture. They just, photoshopped it. Right.
Yeah. I mean, actually, here, I'll give you a good example. I'll give you an example. One of the other things I love doing, of course, we all know this, is I love calling out hoaxes. And so let me go into my investigation files, and let me give you a good example of a great hoax. So here was one from the great Kat Hansen, who described that this is her Sasquatch named Bratis, when in actuality, Bratis was actually a baby gorilla recovering after being rescued in the Congo. And it doesn't take much to see the difference in the two. All right. So, but people will defend that. Here's a comparison shot of it. You know, but people will defend that person to the extremes. And then there was yet another one. Let me call this one up. And pardon me for this is really, we didn't plan on. And if anybody's worried about, well, all I see is a. That was the actual video of that particular gorilla, and yeah, and yeah, the video is out there, but here it is. So this is another picture Cat Hansen loved to put out there of this, saying, "Here's a picture of one of their Bigfoot looking at you." Now, you ready for this, Chris? Can you figure that one out yet?
Yeah.
Okay, watch.
Yeah.
This is the actual real picture. It's actually a baby gorilla.
Yeah.
Or a chicken, right? And what she did was she just turned it and changed the coloring to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it was. But she used the parabolic effect of the arm here.
Yeah. And some Photoshops. Yeah.
And a little bit of photoshopping. Change the color a little bit.
Yeah, on the first, she stretched the photo down. You can pick out and match up each leaf,
right?
The shape, you know, one with each leaf matches perfectly.
There it is.
It's long. And, yeah.
So this is, you know, the kind of stuff that we do, just to, and what happens is the folks, folks have, you know, commented up, and hello, Tim.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir. How are you?
How come I don't have any video?
I don't know. Is there a little thing that says start cam on the side?
Well, no.
Now we completely lost him. Well, he's got a very loud background there too. So, but hey, we're navigating this thing pretty good for our second show out. This is not doing bad.
You know, I was expecting really. I better knock on wood. I was expecting more bugs to show up than what we've had.
The system here works really well. So we're just squeaking along the show. I don't know what happened to Ken. Ken had some technical difficulties, couldn't make it on. Tim, okay, Tim, you back? Technical difficulties. Oh, Tim.
Start Ken.
Okay, Tim, I know you can hear me. We can't hear you right now, but the volume has to be turned down a little bit because, and away he went. And brown trail cameras being quiet, searching for me is the best way. Something elusive doesn't want to be seen and should be investigated stealthily, in my opinion. Well, Jim, and let me talk to you a little bit about that. Sasquatch would be a primate. That would make the most sense. And guess what? What I've found is just completely the opposite. You can try to find them stealthily, and you might come across them. But I find when you start getting activity, is if you act normal. How many Sasquatch have we seen looking at people from a distance? You know, watching people. As primates, we're naturally curious. So we hear something that doesn't belong in the forest or something that's strange. Primates tend to go and investigate, not run away. Bears, wolves, raccoons, other animals, they'll go the other way because that's not how they're built. Unless a bear, of course, is after food. But as a rule of thumb, you start making noises, you're going to draw them in. And in actuality, what I've learned is just actually campfire noise is drawing them a lot of times. When I had my longest sighting, it was because I had actually left my base camp where everybody was around the campfire, quarreling, having a good time. We were on a break. And there it was, standing there along the utility pole watching the campsite. And I think I had kind of stunned it. But, you know, is that a particular method? Being quiet? Absolutely. My methodology kind of works the opposite way, and it's yielded fairly decent results over the years. And of course, when we leave an area, that's where we really want to. That's where we want to is once we get them in, and I know Ken is there. Ken is bait them into camp. I agree. Ken, I don't know if you're having trouble getting in. If you want to try it again, that would be wonderful. And that's true. Troll them in. I said this last week on the show. Is that Autumn Williams? I talked to Autumn Williams, and she had made a real great statement. Is you have to make them feel like they're in charge for them to come in.
Also, and stick with what works, even if it's by accident. You know, I had some good sightings back in 2010, some really good interactions. And the first time I went in, I was wearing a black leather coat and black jeans. And from then on, I always wore that same black leather coat and black jeans every time I went into the area, thinking, well, they're going to see me way before I see them, if I do. And if they see me wearing the same thing, they might think, oh, it's that guy, you know. And if they realize that I didn't hurt them before, you know, more likely I'm not going to hurt them again. They might tend to let me see them. But it could be a pure accident. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't. I don't know. But I had more sightings than that.
Yeah. Now here, I'll show you a couple of interesting pictures. So I don't know which one is up first. Let's try this one. And on the surface, this may not look anything. We kept hearing crashing and moving around us. But as we expand the photo, there was something walking right there. And as you can see, it's fur back. It's off the ground. And the very next picture I took, you can see it a lot better. It actually moved.
Yeah.
I was trying to move with it. And there's no branches on the trees. That could be something that's, you know, like an owl or something in the tree or anything like that. And there's only one eye showing. And I believe what we got was a profile of it walking. And it actually came closer. When we first saw it, it was back here a bit and it walked. And then we heard it recede down the hill. You know, and that's the kind of stuff we get when we make noise and try to bait them in that way.
As you make the noise, I think they're going to come around and see what it is. Who's making all that racket?
Hey, there he is. Hello, Tim.
Actually came close when we first saw it.
Steve.
That's up.
And then we heard it recede down the middle.
So can you just turn your volume down a little bit on your computer?
We make noise and try to bait them in that way. As you make the noise, I think we're going to come around and see what it is. He's making all that racket. Hey, there he is. Actually,
How you doing?
Here, well, we'll get this going.
Talking to me? It's getting a lot of feedback.
Yeah, your volume.
Seems to be off.
All right, so here's what we'll do. I can mute everybody that we need to. So Tim, I'm going to unmute you in a second. I'm going to mute us. And how the heck you been, brother?
I turned it down to 18. Getting a lot of feedback.
So I don't know if you have a headset, Tim. Do you have a headset you can throw on real quick? That would probably work out great.
Became a dad.
So I don't know if you have a headset. Do you have a headset you can throw on real quick?
No, I don't have a headset.
Okay, it's working out. It's working out good now. So you may be on a little bit of a delay because your internet. But, So anyway, these are one of the technical feedbacks we have in this format sometimes. So, you know, there's a second cat in 2 weeks we've had on the show. Isn't it right, Chris?
That's right.
So Tim, we had to mute you because you were also throwing a lot of feedback onto our side, and it has to sometimes people with computer speakers, for whatever reason, it goes into their mic. Yeah, it's not, Chris. I don't think that's going to be able to work. I know you're trying to private chat on that, but
yeah, maybe just too much delay.
yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, I'll try unmuting and see if we're still getting a bounce.
It should help.
Back onto our side. Okay, there we go. A little bit better. Yeah. Yes, sometimes people with computer speakers, for whatever reason, it goes into their mic, and we do have a little bit of a delay going on. So, Tim, what you been up to? I don't think that's going to be able to work. I know you're trying to private chat on that, but
Yeah.
Yeah, I just unplugged an external mic. That should help.
yeah, unfortunately, I'll try unmuting and see if we're still getting a bounce.
It should help.
Back onto our side. Okay, there we go. A little bit better. Yeah. Yes, sometimes.
All right, I unplugged an external mic. That should help.
Into their mic, and we do have a little bit of a delay going on. So, Tim, what you been up to? I don't think that's going to be able to work. I know you're trying to private chat on that, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm live or not. Yeah, I just unplugged an external mic. Been up to a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'll try unmuting and see if we're still getting a bounce.
It should help.
Okay, there we go. A little bit better. Yeah. Yes, sometimes.
All right, I unplugged an external mic. That should help.
Into their mic. Yeah, you know, it doesn't seem like this is going to work because there is an internet lag.
Yeah.
Tim, I don't know. Florida must be a little slow today. There is a definite, like a 15-second lag on your internet connection.
Yeah.
So it's not quite working out. And I have a feeling what's going on is that he may actually have the show up on his browser. So if the show is on the browser, if you're still on Facebook, take that off. Stop watching that and watch it from the browser link, unless the browser link is a little slow. So.
That's okay. We need a few bugs.
Yeah. So let's see if that's popping. Take that off. Stop watching that and watch it. Yeah. You know, I don't know where the delay is because, like if I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, but that's all right. Nothing is perfect in a perfect world. We're still learning this system. And for the most part, it's worked out pretty good. We lost Bill Brock for a while. But for a strange reason, Chris and I are doing just fine. So,
Yeah, Tim got on by changing browsers. But I don't know why there's so much of a delay.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. Got pretty good. We lost Bill Brock for a while. Yeah, he's still on that delay. So I think I'm not quite sure why that is going on necessarily. It didn't happen with Bill, so it may just be the internet connection, which can happen. And the other interesting side effect of I don't know if anybody caught this story. It kind of made me chuckle. And now we're getting an advertisement. Suspect hiding for police passed gas so loudly gives up their hiding spot. Just had to be said.
Oh no.
Didn't happen with Bell, so it may just be the internet connection. Yeah, Tim, I unfortunately think, and I know Tim's trying to talk to us, but unfortunately we're seeing him about 10 seconds behind too. So that tell me it's the internet connection.
It's like Tom.
So but this is what happens when you run a live show. Things happen. Well, if anything can go wrong today, it has gone wrong today. So at least we got some information out there. I think we're going to cut the show at 10 tonight because it's really, it seems to be really having issues tonight. And I know Chris and I are talking okay to each other. So that's a connection there. We lost a guest, but next week we have guests planned and we'll have that all up and running ahead of time instead of on the fly. And Tim, we'll get you on again another time. We'll get you squared away.
Yeah.
And I think that'll probably work out best. Obviously, playing you back, it's causing a delay on our screen and it's rebroadcasting what we've already broadcasted. So, but we'll get you squared away and we'll fix that up where it'll work okay. But good seeing you, brother. I'm glad to see you're doing okay.
Yeah.
You should be getting that in a second.
Oh yeah. Well, Jim typed in a message that we're using the technology that's available to us, like IR trail cams, instead of listening to YouTube guys talk about what they think they saw out of the corner of their eyes. And that guy in Colorado stating that every tree that has fallen was pushed over by Bigfoot. Yeah.
And, you know, that's another thing. I will do a tree bend show very, very soon, too. I love some of the tree bend photos. And, you know, I may have said this last week, but people think that Sasquatch can just bend a tree over and it stays that way. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't. It takes the tree to be down for a few weeks to actually start to grow that way before it'll actually stay. Otherwise, it just goes right back. Like you know, dumping Viagra down the toilet makes the toilet seat go right up. Kids, plug your ears for that joke.
Send me a message and I'll be on next week, Steve.
All right.
From 10. Yeah.
Awesome.
There we go. Good deal.
Done deal. So yeah, and we'll have DDoS on too. So we can stack them next week. That'll be we'll have a bunch of people, and that's the beautiful. Tim's rolling his hands up. So, and I wonder if Mo Michaud is hiding out there. He hasn't said anything tonight, but I have a feeling he's out there creeping away. But it's been an interesting experience tonight. This is all new technology to us. So, you know, now we're seeing an internet delay on this. We'll get that all squared away. Of course, I think it'll probably take us a good month before we get all the bugs out of the system. So, So,
I'm a big believer in Bigfoot, as you know, and would love to see one. What would happen if Sasquatch proven the world of their indeed real? When they be subjected to experiments by the scientific community if caught? Oh, Sherry, yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's a good question too. And certainly they'd be subjected to scientific experiments if one's caught. Matter of fact, if they find one dead, I guarantee you they'll take it apart from top to the bottom.
And
that, you know, unfortunate that it would happen, but I don't think anyone to do that. But yeah, the first thing they do when they have a new species is take it apart.
oh, wait a minute. I think, is Ken there? Ken, are you there? Mr. Collins? Tim? Hey, Tim, are you there?
Hey, Tim.
How about Ken?
I don't see Ken.
Oh, dear.
Got some more bugs.
Ken, are you there?
Yeah, hey guys.
Hey, there he is.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
So,
Well,
Ken, how are you?
Well, I'm doing okay. I don't think I can get my video.
Don't even worry about the video. We're good with audio.
Hell, I'm not that pretty anyways.
And hey, Tim, just a quick idea. Why don't you see if you turn off your camera and try just audio? That may actually help your speed. Yeah. So hopefully he'll get that message soon.
Now,
Hey, Tim, can you hear me?
yeah, I don't have any feedback
Don't
anymore.
even worry about the video. Hey, okay. You still got a little feedback coming back. But it seems like your internet speeds up to speed with us now. Just a quick idea. Why don't you see if you turn off your camera and try just audio? That may actually help your speed. Timmy, you there? Yeah. So hopefully he'll get that message. Now it looks like Tim is still on the 15-second delay. So Ken, how are you, brother? You're from Estes Spring, Colorado, correct?
Yeah, Estes Park, Colorado.
Estes Park, Colorado. Yes.
Yes, about an hour from Denver, up in the Rocky Mountain National Park.
Cool.
So
Beautiful area through there.
Yes, beautiful. Been here 12 years. Bigfooting up in the Rocky Mountain National Park, in the Estes Park area, and up through Walden and through the Yampa area. Pretty good area up in the mountains here that we do a lot of our Bigfooting in. So we have good mountains up here to do that in.
Very cool.
Chris, I'm trying to find the graphic, so if you want to speak a little bit to our guest, I'm trying to figure this all out. I kind of lost the graphic.
Yet.
Hello?
Okay, well.
No, I lost the graphic, so that's not
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay. Can you hear Ken okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing
All right, good.
For you.
Good. Doing well, sir. Thank you.
Good.
So
Well,
you guys are talking about, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Chris, take the chat, please. Go ahead, take the show for a minute.
Okay. Ken, what I was wondering is if you had a sighting yet.
Yes. 2013. I had actually 2012. I had footprint verified by the BFRO, Dennis Kulls, and Dennis came up and did that investigation and verified there was a track line. After that track line verification, I knew that BFRO is saying something's here. So I kept on that area, and I moved it down into the canyon, into the Big Thompson, which is not far from Estes. You have to travel the Big Thompson to get to Estes 34. And so my area there, I got through a buddy who lived in the area and was also a fly fisherman guide, and he had a sighting behind his house up on a campsite area. But that would have been my first sighting, sir. Yes, in 2013. That made the Estes Park newspaper, and I have some stuff on Google, Estes Park News. You can search Bigfoot in Estes Park 2013. My story will come up in that news feed, the Estes Park news feed. But yeah, the first sighting, you hit a point earlier about when you were talking about what you wore. Like I said, Jeff is the guy, the fisherman guide who lived in the area, who gave me the report, and I took it over. So what did I do? I habituated, whatever you want to call that. I call it habituation because I stayed in there, like you said earlier. And I wore the same outfit, same cap.
Yeah.
I tried to do the mannerisms the same, that to where when I did come back to the area, that I would be familiar, and they would say to them, gee, there's that guy walking around again. He doesn't act like the other ones. So maybe we'll let him come in. And I could go on, but yeah, I did have a sighting. I can go on about that sighting. And after that sighting came another one. So I have a couple I could talk about. I don't want to go rambling on, and I will. So, but yes, my first sighting was in 2013. And then shortly after that, I had the other one. And it had taken 20 something odd years almost to get that sighting. So finally, after the habituation of this area, it paid off after 3 months, because I took it over in November, December, about October, November, December, and January 7th when I got my first one as far as a actual sighting with a lot more to that in detail.
So, Ken, when did you first start researching Sasquatch? When did you actually start going out?
The actual seed got planted, and I'm 58. So when the Legend of Boggy Creek came out, after I had an interest in it, that seeded me as far as it growing. And then in the Colorado area, I came up when I was 12 and started actually in my early 20s in the Pikes Peak area, mostly around Colorado Springs, the Rampart Range area, the Gold Camp Road area. They had 3 tunnels in them days. You were able to go up through there and do quite a bit of squatching up in the Colorado Springs area, even around the Broadmoor and the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo, just all in through the Skagway, 11 Mile Canyon. I finally moved myself up to Divide, Colorado in my 30s and investigated the fluorescent fossil beds. And we had a lot of good stuff in that area. And surprisingly, here in Estes Park, we had an event not too long ago I had on called Bigfoot Days. And a ranger came up and said, well, I know you. And I looked at that ranger and says, when I know you, and I want to thank you for letting me go onto those fossil beds and get the stuff that I got back in them days that I was there. So that was in my 30s. I left the area, came into Woodland Park. I'm sorry. I came into Woodland Park 12 years ago, and it has brought in a whole new level of the, I wanted to go from the Colorado Springs area, follow up, and I wanted to make my way into the Rocky Mountain National Park. And boy, there's stories there. When I first started, I was shunned away from the park. We're not talking about that right now, but yes, I've got a lot of good stuff in this this area, and I wanted to come up to the national park. I wanted to. David Pilates from Missing 411. We became friends, and Dennis and the Sasquatch Outpost out of Bailey, Colorado. You know, we all just got a good bunch of guys that we try to coincide and do things with. We have the David has the Mile High Mystery Conference each year. I'm just saying that Colorado has been good as far as me learning, and I'm 58. Of course, we don't know everything. It's not about, you know, glorification. I think it's about more education, and I learn more and more each time doing this. You think you know it all, you don't. But going back to all these times has been good to me up here in Estes, starting at a young age. And I was never the guy who went on to videos, and I was the one to go into the field and do it that way. But I'm just saying, I've had a lot of interesting things in the Bigfoot realm. Bigfoot Loose USA /Facebook is a site I started years ago. I have a lot of videos on there, a lot of stuff, vocalizations and stuff you can just look at. And I have extensively loved to do this. I just got back from the BFRO camp in an area near Steamboat Springs, and Dennis put that on. And of course, I've done some stuff with Matt Moneymaker, and we do some stuff out in Nebraska. Harriet McFeely has a Crossroads of America Bigfoot. So I do a lot of stuff in museums, and so talking, I don't get on too many of the sites to talk with you guys. And I'm so happy tonight he asked for chats, and it's like interesting because I have so much, and I can just go on and on and on. But yeah.
Well, that's all we like, man.
Tone it down a bit. Yeah, you bet. Yeah.
We're here to talk and share, you know, and like you said, it's all about education, you know. And I don't think nobody here claims to be expert, but you know, we can share what we know, and you know, 2 heads or 3 heads are better than one.
Watching you, dude. Steve, you guys, you got a good attitude about it, and that's why we watch you, man. So you got a good show.
Thank you, man. Well, you know, one of the things is that I you know, every once in a while it's nice to put a new name and a new face out there. That you know, somebody had said to me a couple of weeks ago that, you know, the paranormalists or the woo Bigfooters are outnumbering the wood apers, as this person put it. And I said, no, I don't believe that. Really, I don't believe that's true. I think that, you know, there's enough people, but we don't. We're not putting stuff on YouTube every day talking about seeing Sasquatches every day. I mean, it's nice to have a handful of experiences over a long period of time. And you've been at this a long time, and I noticed that. So I thought that was really cool. That here's this guy that's been under the radar for so long. Be nice to, and not to mention on the other side of the country as well. You know, it's really cool. I myself have had the pleasure of being out to the Four Corners area to do research, which is, you know, obviously I take one step, I'm in Colorado. What a great area of the country that is, between Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and just a real neat type of place. You know, so let's talk about your first Bigfoot experience. That'd be really awesome to hear too.
Well, Chris, you still with us there, bud?
Yeah,
you know, in 2013, on January 7th, I ran a Safeway station for a lot of years, and I had a Bigfoot wall in there, and that wall got so much traction. It was on Yelp.com. It's just what you were saying earlier, Steve, was that it brought the awareness of the Rocky Mountain Bigfoot. And to go back to my sighting, I'm just saying that in 2013 on January 7th, about 9:30 in the morning, I'm down in the site area, and I think the thing finally got tired of me. Like you said, it finally looked over a rock at me about 90 yards out. I have my camera in them days always on my chest. I'm snapping. I'm like Scott Carpenter when he takes his photos from the back. I know Scott. And well, I like to do mine by just moving randomly and snapping and snapping. And I used to do the old snap, snap, go back and look at the pictures and circle things. And I got told by a good guy from the BFRO that if you got to circle a picture, it ain't a Bigfoot. But I still do the snapping of my pictures at random and not always when I see something. But at this time, I did see something. It had just snowed that night before a little bit. And this Bigfoot was looking, and there's a picture on my Bigfoot Loose USA, all that. It's looking over a rock. I think it's a young one. And I walked away from that sighting by it saying to me, come back another day, come back another day. And I'm thinking, I have the Roger Patterson right here. Why can't, and I know Bob Gimlin, and I'm just saying, I have his footage and I could something better. You know, I didn't do any of that. I had a record button on my camera. I'm sitting in my truck after that sighting. I'm just saying, thinking to myself, man, why am I not out there chasing this thing? Why am I not doing more right now? What's wrong with me? And I never accepted until years later that, you know what, it did some type of mind sizzling on me. I was so wrapped around seeing it and saying to myself, my God, I've been finding tracks. I have found everything in this area. I knew you were in here, and there you are. But I couldn't take myself to chasing it, or I never wanted to go in these areas saying, I'm here to kill you. I didn't go in. I have been unarmed the whole time in this life. But I'll tell you a short story about that. But anyways, that was my first sighting there.
So let me ask you a question quick.
Yes.
Now, was it, now as you call it, mind sizzling? Some people call it zapping. Now you were in a vehicle when you were witnesses, correct?
No, actually, I was out in the field.
Okay.
What I'm saying was all of a sudden I'm in my car, in my vehicle. I'm in my vehicle. I'm thinking, well, how'd I get here? Why am I here? I don't even remember my walk to the vehicle. I'm just in there saying, I'm here. What am I doing? I just couldn't.
Yeah. Is it possible? Is it possible? Because this is something I deal with when I talk to a lot of witnesses, not just Bigfoot witnesses, but witnesses on the other side of things, witnesses that see crimes or see accidents, stuff like that. And a lot of times what happens is the brain goes into a shutdown mode. And that's because, now, that was your first sighting. Let me just ask you, yes or no, did similar things happen to you on any of your other sightings? Or was it just your first sighting?
Okay. So I was saying that it, in the back of me, it was kind of saying, come back another day, come back another day.
No.
And I wasn't all like, okay, I think I'm okay with this. So later on, within a month, I'm in the area and I have a gifting area. And so I'm doing my regular route through there and I'm checking things out. This was about noon and it was a very nice day. Sun's out, illumination. I mean, you can see everything. So I do my route around the area that I had my first sighting in. I go around my gifting rock. I jump off the gifting rock down, and I heard a wimp, a baby, to where I said, and I jumped off the rock, landed on 2 feet, but I got the camera ready. Hear the thing, something whimper. I just turn around, and as I turn around, at that moment, this red arbon color Bigfoot exit out of a tree. I snapped a picture with my finger, but it's above me on top of the rocks because I'm jumped off the rock. Now it's above me, and a tree there is coming behind to the left of me, or to the right of me, and I'm going to where the truck is behind me. So I'm thinking it's It's flanking me. But what caught my attention is there was another one to the left of the tree, and it was in a position where it had its head cocked around the rock. It wasn't straight. It was cocked around, looking like the first one was. I never said the first one how it was looking at me. First Sasquatch was looking at me over a rock with its nose barely over it. It wasn't going no more. It was just showing me its eyes, its head, and its nose. This is what this one did. But it had its head turned sideways. And that first Sasquatch that I saw had a white patch over its forehead for some reason, but this one didn't. But what I noticed on the one to my left, it was black. And it had the sun was shining, hitting the glistering off the head, off the scalp, and I was just lost the red one to my left. And I thought, well, maybe it's a kill zone. Maybe the sucker's going, flanking me around. I didn't care. I knew that at the time when I saw the red one and I saw the black one, I only had a few seconds to see all the black one because I'm backpedaling backwards, thinking, but I know my area, and I'm thinking I have trippers behind me. If I hit one, all that Arbin 9-foot Bigfoot had to do to me was 1, 2, 3 stomp on top of me. It didn't do that. It thrusted out and left, but it could have got to a point where I could have panicked and backed out of there with a stupidness of falling over and thinking it's going to stomp me, but I didn't have that. I got one picture on that. I never went back to Bigfooting after that for years. That scared me enough to say, you know, for a lot of years, Ken, you go out in the field, you sit under a tree for hours and days, or some get saying sometimes to see one. Well, you finally got to see one. Was it really worth it all? Just saying. You want to go out and find them, you want to do this and that. Or when you see one, I say, please be more prepared than I was. Scientifically, I could have done things different, could have journaled different, could have handled it different. Heck, I had 2 chances at it. A lot of people don't have that. So the Bigfoot gives you that. You don't give it. You don't get it. He gives it to you. And second sighting jostled me enough when I calmed down. I didn't get back in it until a little bit later in years when I met a couple people that came up. They were on the Finding Bigfoot show, and they were an elderly couple. And we went down to another area here in Colorado, and just right near Estes Park, and we got more sightings out of there, footprints. I was just saying that everything came to to where now I do go out. I don't go out as I did, because I think to myself, man, you got a lot of stuff on your plate. You've seen a lot, but I'm frustrated to the point where I didn't document a lot of it, and I wish it could have been better, you know, way I've done things. And boy, I got pounded by the best of people on documentation. David Pilates, Dennis Paul. I'm just saying, BFRO, they pounded, you know, reports. You got to write them down, and never had so much. Just didn't really. I took advantage of it, like, you know, that most people don't have this opportunity. But anyways, yeah, there's been a lot, and like the man said, Steve, I've been the quiet type, and when I let myself open back up after that sighting, and I opened back up in 2016 and started back out in the field. But I've talked to the big men who are hunters, and they see these Bigfoots. They never go back out in the woods. Took a while for me to get it back up. You want to be this big Bigfoot guy? Yeah. Well, it takes a lot of to get it back to go back in, and I went back in. Thankfully, I'm not giving up. I think about moving my research down into Nebraska because I'm a Nebraskan, and I like to go down through the Platte River and start doing some flatland Bigfooting. Because I'll tell you what, the Rocky Mountains have been very good up in Estes Park all through here. I know people don't think we have these. We have them here. They're all the time. There's reports all the time. I was a hard get-goer for 12 years. I have died down a bit on it. And, but, you know, I just like to say, if you have any time left, that, you know, thanks for having me on and just listening to the stories that we have around the world and the Bigfoot realm. I love being here tonight. So I thank you there.
Oh, we got time.
Okay.
So we got plenty of time left. We're not. This is not a blog talk format, so we don't have necessarily a scheduled show. We just come on when it's time, and we go to whenever.
Oh, well, good.
But let me. I don't know if you caught my question earlier because I think my mic was actually muted. Now, your first Bigfoot experience, you had said something about mind zapping or mind buzzing or whatever. Now, what I find a lot of times is that people, when they go through a traumatic experience, they shut some of that things down. So, is it possible? And I have one of two real logical explanations for that. Is it possible, one, that maybe you were so shocked at seeing it that you kind of forgot that in between time, and next thing you know, you're in your truck going, wow, how did I get here? I mean, is it possible it was such a trauma that that perhaps happened to you? Or two, could you have been a victim of infrasound where it actually gave you an ultrasonic burst where it made you feel uncomfortable, uneasy, or maybe made you feel things or forget things? Is that all possible?
Well, I know that it when it said come back, I'll give you more. That was pleasant. So it's the forgetting from A to B. Yeah, I did kind of forget how I got from that dimension over to my truck. I did, and you're right. It's possible. Well, it is possible. It's a good to say that. Yeah, I was in a shock of you know.
And what infrasound can make people feel things or hear things or see things, and that's part of what I think is part of the paranormal aspect of Bigfoot, which is really a very explainable thing scientifically, saying, well, if they use infrasound and you just got, where if you're having a trauma, the mind can do a lot of strange things. I've had people say they've heard, I've talked to a witness that swears he heard this person say something, and two people that were standing right next to him didn't hear it. So it does happen. And it's not because the person I'm talking about or the person they're talking about is, mind melding with them. It's because how people perceive things sometimes in a particular situation. So a lot of times, I think people overscore that. And you haven't. People overscore that this has got to be paranormal because this is what happened. You're just looking at it from a little compartmental size piece of it. Well, that's happening. I mean, I'm really not going to explain it with anything wild. And then that's just the only thing I can out your perspective of things, and that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, and second one sighting wasn't the zapping and none of that. It was a surprise. It was, it happened fast, and I'm not 90 yards away this time. I'm 20 feet, and it's higher than me. So completely different type of scenario. You think I'd have been a little more, ready after the first incident, but got it again and didn't. It just happened so fast. The second incident, first incident, I had all kinds of time. I could have ran over there and had lunch and jumped on top and the shoulders and rode around. I mean, we had so much time. Why wasn't I had so much time then and less time on the second one because it was a burst and it happened so quickly and was over. But that's yeah.
Well, the second time you felt threatened almost.
Threatened, yeah. Very. It. I don't know. It could have just easily took a couple bounces off and just been on me, but it didn't do any of that. The black one I was looking, the smaller one looking around the rock was really intriguing me, and then never really know there was a third one until Wayne Williams. He does a lot of stuff like Thinker Thunker, and he'll go through my pictures and he says, Ken, if you look over to the left of that shot you took, you have a third one there. And that was probably and I see that third one. It looks like a small raccoon, I'm just saying, but that had to be the thing that had made that noise, that made me turn around, that got the shot, that got my sighting going with the red one. I'm just saying, you know, yeah.
Well, if they've had a multiple creature in somewhere, a lot of times that they only saw one because it made a noise, like it wanted.
Chris.
They turned.
Chris, you're going to have to repeat that. Your internet.
They start. Oh,
Your internet blurred a little bit there.
Oh, thanks, Steve. You posted my picture up there. Sorry about that, Chris. I looked up and saw my picture. That was nice of you. But Chris, we can hear you now.
Okay. Well, some of our guests the case in your multiple sighting you had.
So, Chris, you're asking me if I think that the little one was drawing me off from the red one? Because seeing two of them, the first red one was definitely in my sights first, and then my provisional, it was right there enough to where it looked and saw the little blackhead one. So were they? You're asking me. I think that they were kind of they're a family, and I think that they're communicating that way. Something was going on. Or one was saying, maybe get away. Red one and this black one was keeping me at a bay. I don't know. Because maybe of the little third one that I didn't know what was there. Just a lot of stuff came in after this encounter when you try to absorb it over the years of how we can analyze this. Yeah.
So, Ken?
Yes.
Why don't you pitch your Facebook page real quick? It's facebook.com/Bigfoot Loose USA. When did you start that up?
Geez, I want to say that's 7-8 years ago.
Okay, wow. So it's been around a while.
Yeah, a bit. Yeah.
Very cool. So,
yeah.
Folks want to catch up.
Just stuff around the Estes Park area, sightings, vocalizations, interviews. One time I'm on just saying small interview in there is interesting. I'm on a Bigfoot interview, and a guy is down in the area, and he's a motorcyclist, and he's looking up in these hills. I got this tape on, so I click my camera on, record it. I asked the guy, geez, I'm down here with this gentleman right now. We're doing something. Are you in any trouble? The guy's like, I just saw a Bigfoot up on that hill. And I look at the guy I'm with. I'm just saying that I'm doing an investigation with, because I don't know him either. I'm just doing an investigation down there. And I got stuff like interviews like that, where, I'm on a site area. Here's a guy sees one. I asked these guys, are you two together? And they said no. And I'm like, wow, I've never ever been on a site area where actually there's a person there, and he has that 1 hour fresh sighting. And the gentleman I'm with had sightings, years ago on his property. He just had me down there telling me and showing me stuff. And then we get this gentleman. I just got neat stuff like that. Just stuff I got some stuff with David Bodies on there. We're doing some investigations of, that side of MUFON and UFOs and all that. And I had accepted Bigfoot a little bit more into the realm of that. Ron Moorhead, we've had Ron on conferences and stuff. And, I'm trying to wrap myself around more of how they think about the Bigfoot and how it could be. I've seen tracks out there, guys. We can go on and on this, but I've seen tracks out there with just one. And it does look like maybe they came from a portal, because you can't say to yourself, you look up and there's no trees around. You can explain that there's nothing falling there. I don't know. Sometimes you can see things, and this of the Bigfoot in that realm, and the how Ron Moorhead and all them do that kind of stuff. It's all interesting. So we have a lot to learn still, for sure.
Well,
but any more questions on that?
I've understood I understand a little bit about quantum physics. And actually, I don't know if you caught Bill Brock on earlier. We kind of talked a little bit about, the theory of relativity and Einstein's theories and time and stuff like that. And to me, it just don't flush. It does not flush. You can, I think, especially, like Ron was a flesh and blood guy for many years. In fact, on his Sierra Sounds, he says, these are real flesh and blood creatures. I don't know what happens to people. We get to a certain point where they get so frustrated with not being able to solve this mystery that they look outside the mystery to other mysteries to explain the phenomena.
Yeah.
So I'd be very cautious under jumping onto that boat.
Right. So I can't wrap myself around that just yet.
Yeah. It's you got to understand that to me,
one thing about David Plott is and him having these 411 mystery conference, he mixes in the MUFON, UFO, and the Bigfoot together. And to hear some of the UFO stories that's got Bigfoot in them, it's just intriguing. It's like, gosh, how can you make it up? For instance, real quick, guys, in Arizona, he doesn't want to camp on the ground because of snakes. Goes up in the trees. 3 o'clock in the morning, cylinder pod comes over, 3 holes in it. Middle pod, something comes out. Looks like a robot. He said it zapped to the ground, called out these green things. They came down. He says these green things crawled up the tree and kind of looking at this guy, but didn't touch him or nothing. And the robot thing got them all back down, got them all back into the ship, and they took off. But I said that fast. But the way the guy explained it, I still think, man, I mean, can that stuff happen? But yeah, you're right. That's some of that. Even with the latest show from Missing 411, The Vanish, and Dave had mentioned that he thinks that maybe the guy was lost in a portal. And I just never thought that that would ever be said. Portals and that's a whole different area. And I'm just saying we have so much to this, and that what we're talking about, Ron Moorhead and all that. Yeah, it's just hard to. I still have a hard time at my age to wrap myself around. But I've had so many stories of UFOs being involved. But
I look at it this way too, Ken. Is that many years ago, and you probably remember it because you're a little older than me. You probably remember it a little better than me. Remember all the cattle mutilation stories? Remember people seeing UFOs near cattle and stuff like that?
Yeah, San Luis Valley, Skippy.
We never once ever said that maybe the cattle are aliens.
Right.
If it's no different if a UFO was around a bunch of chickens. We wouldn't say the chickens are aliens. So if there's a UFO around a Bigfoot, why do we automatically jump to that conclusion that Bigfoot's got to come from UFOs?
Well,
if there are many different phenomenons in this world, many different. There's portals, there's aliens, there's stuff like that. I'm not necessarily saying that the story the guy told you was necessarily a true story, but there are stories I'm sure that have some validity. I just don't know that story very well. That doesn't mean that it's all tied together. Some people would love to do that and just tie it all together. That's an easy explanation. That's an easy out.
Yeah.
And I don't buy that. The bottom line is we're not doing our work well. I mean, has anybody really seriously put a trap out for a Sasquatch? No. No, not at all. The only team that ever said they put traps out, that was a team called Team Quantra, and they turned out to be nothing but a hoax. So, there's nobody really doing the hard work that was done to prove these other animals because of lack of funding. Plain and simple. We didn't approach it. And I dare say Peter Byrne did not approach it like he approached other big game. Like if you were to prove a different type of Sumatran tiger, would he have gone about it the same way with the Sasquatch? He got all this funding. Why wasn't there traps put out? Why wasn't there attempts like that?
Yeah.
It just never happened. So, for people to give up and try to tie it all into one thing or mishmash all the mysteries into one, I say that's a cheap way out, or a person that's very frustrated way out.
Yeah.
And we've seen it. Eric Beckford was a man who went to the paranormal side. Dr. Matt Johnson, another one. Good God, he's created his own cult of Zorth. And they talk to him, and their name is Zorth, and they're called Xenu, and all this really off the wall stuff.
Yeah, my days to read Edgar Casey was just just to wrap yourself around some of that. So,
and my thing is let's use Occam's razor. It looks like a primate. It acts like a primate. It has behaviors like a primate. Kind of tends to act in its habitats like a primate. It's a primate. That's Occam's razor. If it wore pants, if it used complicated tools, if somebody saw a group of them sitting around talking, and that was a legitimate report, maybe, but I haven't heard a legitimate report to that yet, because we have scores of people saying that they communicate daily with the Sasquatch, but never have anything to prove, and always have convenient excuses. And that's what I stand for. That's what I stand against. And
for those guys are going out and doing video evidence of Bigfoot every day. Every time they go out, they get a photo or a video of Bigfoot. And I just don't think that's possible. They don't have anything else other than their video that they got, or their photos, but they get something every day. And I guess if nothing else, I'm jealous, because I went out for weeks at a time, got nothing, saw nothing.
And Ken has gone out numbers of times, has gotten nothing as well. So,
well, I have an individual on my team, and she's that way. It was just years and years of the parallel and all that. Everything that was a Bigfoot. It was like a crack in the sound, or a crack in the woods, or a black spot later on. Bigfoot. The other day she went out a month ago and got something, and I always played it off as here we go again. She's just saying she got it. But BFRO came up and did an investigation and pretty much said she had a Bigfoot there. And this was just report's not out because the BFRO is still working on the report. It comes off on flats. I'm just saying. I did take this person sometimes has out in the field. You gotta stop what you're doing. Everything's not a Bigfoot. But she comes and does this, and if the BFRO comes up, do their investigations, I believe they're credible enough to say, well, gosh darn, can't you saw something? But I just try not to be. I used to be this. It's not. Just go away from it. And but when you got sometimes when there's 5 of us and all of our cameras and batteries get drained, and it's a peculiar incident that happens to all of us, I can say something that that's just something that all of us are experiencing. So, but I'm glad that Leah got. I'm sorry, I said the Bigfooter's name, but I'm glad that she had gotten this report, and because there's years where I was like, oh my goodness, stop, But then again, if she's willing enough to always be the gumption to she's always went out in the field. She's the one that's got her head turning, and she's listening to everything, and that gets old after a while, because everything out there isn't a Bigfoot. But then again, I like to have somebody who is a snappity and all that kind of stuff. There are some out there that are totally, if it ain't walking in front of them and saying the alphabets in front of them, they don't want to, there's some hardcore, but I like the people that go out and, they hang it. I get a lot of stories from people that, that just keep at it. I think sometimes, where the area you're in, that's impossible, but they get stuff out of the areas that sometimes you think aren't going to be anything. And there's so much there's so many big coming in now that's got awareness now that they're here that maybe we can get more evidence out of this area as far as you know, that in that area.
Yep. So, well, I think we're going to close out the show for the night.
Yes.
So, but Ken, I want to thank you for coming on tonight. And of course, everybody can check Ken out on Facebook.com/Bigfoot Loose USA, all one word, Bigfoot Loose USA. It's up there on the screen for people to see. But Ken, thanks for popping on in, and please keep in touch, my brother.
Yes, let's get on and talk about trackways. And I'm like Cliff, love trackways, and I cast a lot of prints. And
I do see that, and
yeah,
you know, let's
go on. I've got some maybe some Dogman pictures out there off of Trail Cam. So I just got good stuff on that Bigfoot Loose USA. I want to thank you so much. A little bit unprepared tonight, a little bit tired after.
I'm sorry. Well, if
you know, this is always fun. I've loved chatting. I'd love to be invited back anytime. Thank you so much.
Well, you know what we're doing right now, Ken?
Yes, sir.
Actually scrolling your Bigfoot Loose USA page online right now.
I see that. In this area that I go in with those mud prints, I go up each year, and it's in the Steamboat Springs area. So I've been 4 years.
A man after my own heart.
There you go. There's old Bobo. We have he came up for an event for me.
Hey, not a Sasquatch, folks. Not a Sasquatch.
No, that's on my pet elk, and that's a footprint of a trackway I got, guys. And the trackway, that trackway is very inline. It's a small trackway. Next to that trackway is a big trackway. But what got me so much about it was how inline it was, and how, you know, in stride the track was. You know, so not saying, you know, 100% they're, you know, they're Bigfoot, but I just interesting. My study will be my 4th year up in that area. I just gotten back, like I said, last night from this area. So Lake, I'll hit the shoreline as it recedes. So I know that every 10 feet or so, whatever, the shoreline was there. They walked on it. It recedes more. By time the leaves starts turning and stuff, I'll be up there. And that trackway you got down in that corner, you got a little film on that. This is my first. I just go back to so much around here, and the first 7 seconds of this tape is what you want to hear, not the end of it, but the first 7 seconds of how that thing hollered at me. And I'm up in an area where you hear my voice, kind of my breathing pick up, and I'm like,
if it's okay, Ken, I can actually broadcast that.
Yeah, so stuff like that, guys, on that Bigfoot Loose USA. And
okay, so hang on, we'll play that. Give me 1 second. Everybody, hang out 1 minute.
And this is up in the Black Canyon area. Here. Okay, go back to the beginning. Here, yep at me. Yup. Maybe we could loop it and you can hear it. It's the first few 4 seconds there.
Yeah.
And after that, I kind of pick my breathing up and go on.
I'm definitely going to get over to your Bigfoot Loose USA over on Facebook. That's a good looking page.
You bet. A lot of snow prints. I can get up in the Rocky Mountain National Park and get into these areas before they allow 4 million people to come tromping through there. I get up over and go. Right here is where I thought I got the dog man. That one up in right about the middle of the picture. Right there. It's about the middle right in there. Where you almost got your cursor on it. About the middle is where right in there. Yeah, he's kind of looking down through a tree. But
Ken, you said it yourself.
There you go.
You may need a red circle for that one.
Yeah.
Now, see, here's this is a tree twist, and this is something I consider a little more authentic than your tree bends, the twisting of that. And you know that's pretty open. And that there is not a Bigfoot. That is a huge moose.
Up in the Colorado State Park area, up in near Walden. Yep.
But yeah, so I would suggest everybody go pop on over there and check it out.
So the picture right there, guys, is the first sighting. There's a black white patch over his head, and if you can expand that picture, you'd see his nose right down in that crack. You see some snow to the left, but right in there where that rock kind of climbs, he's got his nose just sitting in there, and his eyes are right, of course, patch over the forehead, and of course his cranium's right up there. I don't know where his feet are or his arms are or whatever, but there's something also in the back I thought that day too. But this is how I was looking at it, just with that stare and that patch.
And you see, I hold more weight into something like this than if you were just taking a random picture and there it is. You actually had seen them with your own eyes, and that to me makes a difference. When you just there's too many people out there just taking pictures and saying, "Oh, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is."
Right.
You know, in this case, was like, "There it is," and then took the picture. So instead of taking the picture and then saying, "There it is," so there's a little bit of a difference in that.
Yeah.
A really cool page. So pop on over there. It's down there on the bottom there, showing everybody to see.
Thank you.
And we'll pop our thing up. But I want to thank you for coming on tonight. It's been
You're welcome.
a fun journey.
You bet.
In touch. We'll have you on back again. If stuff comes in, let me know.
Okay. Nice. You bet. Nice to chat with both of you guys. Thank you.
All right, Ken. You take care, my friend.
Good night.
See you, bud.
All righty. So, Chris, we had a little bumpy start to the show, but we had a lot of fun towards the end.
Yeah.
So let me just. So, of course, there's our watch live pages, facebook.com/Steve.Kulls, twitter.com/Squatch-D, DET, and youtube.com/Steve Kulls. Our replays will be anywhere you can watch and view this show live, plus facebook.com/SquatchD-TV, and, of course, over at squatchdetective.com when we post the YouTube link to the show. So, Chris, you got anything for us this week?
Nah, man, I just want to thank Ken and thank Tim for trying to come on. Maybe we'll get Tim on, upcoming Tim Fasano.
And we want to thank Bill, too, for coming on.
Yeah, more coming up. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. A live broadcast from the Conjuring House. But hopefully, the spooks didn't get him out there. They did get cut off abruptly. But anyway, folks, I want to thank everybody for coming on. First of all, again, to Bill Brock, to Ken Collins, and for Tim Fasano for the try. We give him. I want to thank all our chatty chatters there in the chat room. Paul Garnet, especially, who's really Mr. Chatty. Aaron, thanks for coming on. Sherry, of course. Kevin, and anybody else, Jim Brown, and anybody else who we've made, Steve Streifer for swinging by, and whoever else I may have forgotten. Hello, Kim Roble, thank you. Sue and Ronnie, thanks for all coming on, and Richard. Good time tonight. I want to thank everybody for coming on. Sorry about some of the technical glitches tonight. They'll only get worked out as we go on. I know at one point it was kind of painful for me, but we got through it. We got our guests on. We got our job done. We had him on for, a good 45 minutes. We had Bill on for about 20 minutes. So fun time. Folks, on behalf of me, we'll be back next week with DEUTSCH from the Bigfoot Dogman Project. We'll be talking about Bigfoot and other stuff, about stuff that goes on in the community. And, hopefully we can get Richter on the show, too. That'd be kind of a scream. And, folks, on behalf of me and everybody here, have a great, safe week. God bless. And, of course, keep on squatching and we'll be bringing the. No, we won't be bringing that one back. But we will get this all worked out as soon as I realize where the hell I put my show banner, my show ending here. Wow. So so we will be back next week. Screen back to come up. We're good. And everybody, God bless. Keep on squatching.